Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Inside the Big Dynasty League. Episode 6 of the season, week 5 of the matchups, or we're going over week 5, we're going into week 6. With me, as always, the commish.
That's right, as always.
Clyde Randall Waters.
As always.
Missing and separate from us again is our own stat man, Petey Cunningham, who apparently the vast income we make from this is not enough, so he's on a trip with his job that pays. But I thought, you know what? Our viewers don't deserve a week without seeing that beautiful man's face. Commish, show him what we're working with.
Bam!
Boom! There he is.
Statman.
Our own Statman, Petey
Right
Cunningham.
there.
All right, we'll be referring to him throughout the week, throughout the night, to see what he has to say. And he might have a different voice than he normally has. Anyway, let's get right into it. Let's take a look at last week's matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
We have, this matchup was the San Francisco 69ers, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a sex joke, versus Hernandez's pistol offense, and that joke's getting kind of old. The Niners with a win here. And Statman, can you break it down for me? Oh, well, yes, I can. I'm the Statman, Petey Cunningham. I do math. Numbers, calculators. Yes, the 69ers won.
Well, I'll give us some real data here. The Niners had a victory over Hernandez pistol offense. They won by 16.74 points in this victory. And they were led in that effort in this win by none other than Carson Palmer. He led the way for the team with 23.04 points.
Now, do you think this might be a costly win, though? I mean, they got the win, but they lost one Jamal Charles.
They did.
I'm not a mathematician. I'm not very good at fantasy football, as my record indicates in this league. Other leagues, it's different. But he's an important player on this team.
He is.
It's going to be interesting to see where, while this week he only got 9 points because he got hurt, Jamal Charles has been a pretty big anchor on this team, and that's going to, we'll have to see where they float off to without that anchor, if you know what I'm saying.
It's true.
Boat analogies.
You know, they lost Jamal Charles, but Andre Ellington is back. And they also have Matt Jones and Marshawn Lynch, who was out the last couple of weeks with injury. So they might have lost Jamal Charles, but the Niners still have a very stacked running back core that I think will be able to get them through this loss.
Okay. Statman, anything to add?
Yeah, Statman.
No?
No.
Okay. All right, moving on. We're going to next look up at the FC Acid Kickers versus Los Pandas Desnudo.
Yeah.
And I'll break it down since I'm not in it and the Statman's gone. This one was a close one, as far as I consider close ones to be. Pandas pulling off a win with 158.86 over FC Acid Kickers 141.86. I do believe Pandas, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner, that this extends the Pandas' constant beating of the Acid Kickers to a lot to never winning for the Acid Kickers.
That's right. I believe I'm 5-0 now against the Acid Kickers. Yeah, they've never been able to beat Los Pandas Desnudos. I don't know why. We both field competitive teams. This year, the matchup was pretty close. It took us going into Monday night to pull off this win. But we did. Los Pandas Desnudos had a 17-point victory. And surprisingly, that win was carried mainly by none other than Doug Martin.
Doug Martin, ladies and gentlemen, maybe is Doug Martin back from what he was his rookie year, and then everyone was like, it's his year this year, and he sucked?
Who knows? Maybe it was because they played the Jaguars. Who knows? But Doug Martin put up 36.8 points, had 3 touchdowns, a bunch of yards, 123 rushing yards. Martin was the number 1 ranked overall fantasy scorer for Week 5, and Los Pandas Desnudos started him.
All right. Hey, Statman, anything to say? No? Okay. Next up, we got Calvin Who versus the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. This one was a bit of a pounding. The Calvin Who?
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 Statman?
Statman? Who? Who?
Anyways, I think this one was a discount double up!
It was. Calvin Who won 143.24 to my measly 71.
Yeah, Calvin Who had a 72.24 point victory. 72.24.
Yes.
His margin of win was more than what you scored.
Look, you're not the mathematician. You're not the stat
I'm
man,
not
okay?
doing the math. The math's here in front of my face. Anyways, I loved your quote after this game, Mike.
Okay.
You were quoted as saying, "It just wasn't meant to be."
It just wasn't meant to be, apparently.
What does that mean? What was going through your head when you said this?
It's like, well, there's things that are meant to be, right? Like Tom Brady throwing touchdowns. That's meant to be. And then there's things that aren't meant to be. And this was one of those things.
I see you even tried to use the 0-point strategy here. Have one player with 0 points.
I did not try. It just ended up that way. Owen Daniels let me down. I debated greatly whether or not I should start him or Larry Donnell. Turns out I should have started Larry Donnell. Would have kept it close.
Anyways, Calvin Who has put together quite a run here. Bumping his record up for the season. To 3-4? And yeah, puts Calvin Who in contention if he can pull off a win streak here. Who knows?
That's right.
Next season, maybe.
Next up, we got F. Hoff.
F. Hoff!
Versus the Ricky Bobby team.
The name hasn't been updated yet.
Well, he won, so he stopped updating the name.
But I thought if he lost again.
No, it was changing the name every time until he got a win.
Okay.
Then once he got a win, he was done. Plus, honestly, I think he ran out of creative things to do with F and Hoff.
Okay. Well, all I know is that if I lost to the Ricky Bobby team, I would change my name.
You mean if you lost to a team that started a quarterback that didn't play, and a wide receiver who didn't play, 2 players that not now look, I understand I was the worst scorer of the week. I understand that I was discount doubled up. I understand that Owen Daniels didn't score any points. All of my players, however, were active and played. 2 of Ricky Bobby's teammates were not. And yet, F. Hoff could not pull off a victory.
And the Ricky Bobby team almost discount doubled up your score without an active quarterback or a wide receiver.
I don't know why we're talking about me. We're on this game.
Well, anyways, it was a close one here. Wasn't a close shave, though, but it was a close one. But Ricky Bobby team came through, bumping them up to 2-5 for the season, getting them just above the bottom of the pile.
There you go. Victoria's Secret versus Wolfgang United is our next one. Break it down, Statman. Well, you see, Victoria's Secret beat Wolfgang United because everyone beats Wolfgang United except for one person, apparently. And they don't win very often. And Eli Manning had a really good game. Math. That's a very good analysis, Statman. Commish, you have anything to add to that?
Well, Victoria's Secret had a big one here, 43.96 point victory. Majority of that goes to Eli Manning's big game. Eli Manning putting up 441 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 34.74 points for Eli Manning. How awesome is that? But just a solid performance here by Victoria's Secret, which was definitely needed to keep her season alive. She's now 3-4 for the season.
And the last matchup of this week was the Scarlet
Pimpernels
versus Wayne Enterprises.
Woo,
and let's just say, Petey got beat by his sister. Statman, is this possibly why you're not here today?
Woo.
Nothing to say about getting beat by your sister, huh?
Look at him, though. He's just giving this kind of deep thought scowl. Like
he's contemplating what he has to say about it.
Yeah, it's like, well, what did he say? Here's a quote from Statman after the game. These guys have nothing to be ashamed of.
Which guys? The guys on the other team that beat him?
I think he's talking about his team.
But his team lost.
To his little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he even tried the 0-player trick.
Yeah. And then Scarlet Pimpernel one-upped him and started somebody who didn't even play.
Boom! All right.
Man, that's the new thing this season.
Apparently. Starting players that aren't active.
I tried that last week by not putting a defense in. But you got to put the player in. They just can't be actually playing.
Yeah. That makes sense if you think about it, really.
Yeah.
It's science. Don't overthink it.
Okay.
Next up, let's move on to our awards of the week. Starting with the Hershey Milk Dud of the Week. Your favorite movie time candy that gets stuck in your teeth.
Ugh.
Who was the dud player of this week? Commish.
Whew. This one goes to, surprisingly, Owen Daniels.
Oh, Owen Daniels. Active. Playing against Oakland. Oakland, who was legendary for not even attempting to guard a tight end. Should have been a lock. Should have been an easy 14, maybe 20 points even. Because Oakland's that bad against the tight end. But apparently, Owen Daniels just couldn't do it.
Well, even though the Broncos are undefeated, 5-0, there's something going on here. That's the second game this season where I don't think they had an offensive touchdown. But Owen Daniels as a whole, though, not having too stellar a season. But this was expected to be the biggest game for him yet, and he did not show up.
No, he did not. I mean, he went there. He got on the field, but apparently he forgot that he was playing football. Maybe he thought he was playing keep away. I don't know. Anyway, next up we got our Ram pickup of the week. This goes to our best free agent pickup by the toughest pickup truck on the planet. A Ram made by Ram.
Yeah, I drive one.
Yeah. This week is going out to Alan Hearns, picked up by F. Hoff.
F. Hoff!
Gave him 22.6 points, but not quite enough to get the victory over the Ricky Bobby team. Still, if you can get 22 points out of a free waiver pickup in week 5, that's a pretty good deal.
Yep. Especially for a guy that's a wide receiver on the Jaguars.
Jaguars.
But, F. Hoff paid a pretty penny on that waiver wire to get him. I think F. Hoff threw out $26 to secure Alan Hearns.
Man.
But it paid off. Got an award for it. And maybe, who knows, this could be a key thing for F. Hoff going down this season.
All right, next up, we got our biggest whooping of the week.
A whooping, a whopping, a whooping and a whopping.
Brought to you by Burger King's Dark Whopper. The Black Whopper with A1 in it.
It makes your poop green.
The bun's black, the poop's green by the Whopper.
The Whopper.
And this time it goes
the
out.
The Whopper!
It goes out to Calvin who?
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 With his 143.24 points beating of his brother me by 72.24 points, which was over a point more than my total score. That's definitely a pounding. Next up, we got the Resurrected Team of the Week brought to you by Lazarus Department Stores.
Do you remember Lazarus?
Yeah, that's why they're sponsoring the show.
I love shopping at Lazarus.
They're soon to be resurrected, like Lazarus from the Bible.
Oh.
It's like we're explaining the joke because no one's commented on it yet.
Oh, we don't get any comments on this show.
That's true. Anyway, this one's going out to Los Pandas Desnudo.
That's right.
Lowest score last week. Awful. Pathetic showing. To the highest score this week. Remains undefeated against the FC Acid Kickers. And that's all around a good resurrection story, if you know what I'm talking about. Next up, what?
I'll say I might have had the lowest score last week, but I think my lowest score last week was enough to beat your score this week.
Well, that's not how it works. We'd have to play each other.
I'm just letting you know.
Okay. Next up, we got the Poopery Poo-Poo Team of the Week, the team that stunk, and that's me. After that, we have our surprise player.
Two poo-poos for you this year.
Probably.
2 poo-poos.
That's okay. We can go back and look at your last season if you want to keep looking in the past and go back, well, hey, my last this.
I'm just letting you know.
The Proactive Breakout Player of the Week. Remember, if you're getting broken out, use Proactive. Goes to Eli Manning with his highest points of the year, 34.74. Helping lead Victoria's Secret over Wolfgang United Rocky Mountain High, helping her step forward towards another championship.
Yeah, I just want to say, Eli Manning has gotten a lot of crap over the last few years. He's been very turnover prone, been very wishy-washy, big game here, little game there, blah, blah, blah.
Not to mention his commercials has been way worse than his brother.
That's true. His commercials are nothing on Peyton's. But I will say this. It's been a just constant rise this season for Eli Manning. Week 1, you thought it was me. Classic Eli. Only 8.22 points. But every week has been going up and up and up. And this week took a big jump. 10 points more than last week. Almost 35 points. Wonder if this trend will continue. And if so, this might be enough to keep Victoria's Secret a big contender this season.
Very true. Very true. Let's see. Next up, let's start taking a look at next week's picks. Next week's Mama Matchup of the Week.
Mama Matchup of the Week.
This week, the matchup of the week is between two people who have a very strong rivalry. They almost don't speak to each other on the weeks they're playing. The hatred runs so deep, it is just disgusting. The smells that come out of him because of his anger, it's because he bent over, are just foul. No one, this one has to go to Los Pandas Desnudo versus the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. Statman, break it down. Oh, there's still nothing to say? Okay. Kamish, why don't you break it down?
Oh, yeah, so this is a classic rivalry game. Is that better?
Sure.
Between these two teams here. Looking at the all-time record, Los Pandas Desnudos is on top with a 3-1 record all-time against the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. The Bourbon Barons have been struggling this year, but their pattern has been low scoring week, big scoring week. Low scoring week, big scoring week. Last week was a low scoring week for the Bourbon Barons. So who knows what's going to happen this week against Los Pandas Desnudos. Right now, the game lines have them within 9 points of each other. That is not including some roster updates to fix some buys that are on both teams. So this has the potential of being a close-shave game.
Drama. Suspense.
So, one thing that the franchise owner of the Bourbon Barons, Mike, said during his pregame conference for this week, he says, the season is a marathon.
A what?
The season is a marathon.
A what?
The season is a marathon.
A what?
The season is a marathon, not a sprint.
No, I don't use Sprint. I use Verizon. Who uses Sprint? People who don't want service?
Whew.
All right. Anyway, anything else to say about this one?
Well, we can make our pick.
Well, that's what we're going through. Statman, who do you got? I'm going with the Pandas.
Thanks, Statman.
Kamish.
I'm going with myself. Los Pandas Desnudos.
And I, as always, will make the bad decision of going with myself. I've done it for 31 years. And I can plan on doing it for at least 15 more.
All right.
Next up, our next matchup is Hernandez Pistol Offense versus Calvin who?
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 Okay.
Yeah, this matchup, Calvin Hughes will put up some big points. Hernandez Pistol Offense has remained steady, but not within the sweet spot of top-notch points for this league this season, but still top of their division. However, Calvin Hughes got, I think, 3 of their starters on bye this week, losing Todd Gurley, Latavius Murray, Terrence Williams. I don't know if Calvin Hughes has the depth to overcome that. But we'll see. Hernandez Pistol Offense, though, is my pick for this week.
All right, Statman. Hernandez. Kamish. Or that's me. Mike. Sweep it. It's hard being both people. It really is. Next up, we got the San Francisco 69ers. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, that is a sex joke that he's making. Versus the FC Acid Kickers. And that is a geographical chemistry joke. In case you never picked up on that one.
What?
Well, he's FC Acid Kickers. He's a chemistry teacher. And I think the FC has to do with where he lives in Indiana.
Which is?
I don't know.
Franklin County.
Franklin County Acid Kickers. So it's a geography with the Franklin County. Acid, he's a chemistry teacher. And Kickers, football.
Kickers for like football or football?
Football. The place kicker. The guy who kicks the field goals. Kicks off. Punters. There's kickers. You have one on your team.
Okay.
Anyway, who do you think's going to win this one, Kamish?
Well, it's always a big game between these two teams. The Niners are 2-3 all time against the Acid Kickers. That's surprising.
Whoa.
I think the Niners are going to be a little unprepared this week going in this matchup with the loss of Jamal Charles and other running backs like Marshawn Lynch still kind of wavering out there, not really sure what's going to happen. And as I've been saying all season long, the Acid Kickers have a nice young team who's been staying relatively healthy with some classic veterans on the team too, like Calvin Johnson. I think it's upset city this week with Acid Kickers taking down the San Francisco Niners.
All right, the Statman has the Niners, and I'm going with the Niners too. I almost went Acid Kickers with the injury to Jamal Charles, but I think the Acid Kickers are going to be okay. I think Marshawn comes back this week. Next up, we have the Ricky Bobby team versus the Scarlet Pernickables?
Pernickables? Pimpernels.
Pimpernels. Or, as the Statman calls it, and took them in this game, the Derek Carr team. Kamish, what do you got on this one?
Oh. Do you think Devonta Freeman is really going to continue on this streak?
I certainly hope so.
We'll find out. But, it's Scarlet Pimpernels.
Sweep it. I'm going with them too.
Even though these teams are 2-2 all time against each other. So it's kind of the 50-50, the toss-up. It's a flip of the coin. You never know.
All right.
Did I just blow your mind? I just blow the roof off your doors.
I'm rebooting. Hold on.
Can't reboot in the middle of the show.
All right. Next up, we have F. Hoff.
F. Hoff!
versus Victoria's Secret.
Ooh.
Sexy. Statman, what do you got on this one? Still nothing, huh? All right.
Quiet this week.
He is very quiet this week. He's looking at the thought. He has a lot of thought going on in that mind of
I
his.
know.
He's really contemplating life. He's thinking. He's trying to make decisions. Maybe he's thinking of that new lady friend of his.
Ooh.
Maybe he's thinking, oh, man, fantasy football. I love it so much. Oh, man, I love fantasy football. But I also like this lady. Oh.
You're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
What do you got?
Let's see. In this matchup, F-Hoff versus Victoria's Secret. F-Hoff is the early favorite going into this week. But who knows Victoria's Secret, that power behind Eli Manning, if Eli Manning's going to keep putting on more points. The running back core for Victoria's Secret, though, is the weak spot with LeGarrette Blount, who's really been just splitting 50-50 with Deion Lewis pretty much. And then Darren Sproles, it's, this and that. Shane Vereen, Danny Woodhead, though. He's been having a solid season. Whoa!
Take a drink.
Whoa!
Whoa. All right, so who are you taking?
I'm going F-Hoff.
All right, Statman went F-Hoff. I'm going with the upset. I'm going with Victoria's Secret.
The odds are in your favor. F-Hoff is 1-3 all time against Victoria's Secret.
Boom. Science. And our last matchup of the next week is Wayne Enterprises versus Wolfgang United.
Yeah.
Statman, break this thing down. Okay. Based on what he said, who are you taking?
Well, surprisingly, right now, the lines in this game, Wayne Enterprises is only projected to win by 0.48 points.
48 points. That's less than a full point. That's even less than a half point.
Yes. However, the roster has not been updated yet to replace the kicker that is on bye. So, I would say the favor is leaning towards Wayne Enterprises, and seeing as Wolfgang United is 0-3, knock knock.
Who's there?
Owen.
0-3.
0-3!
Oh!
Did you see that thing on Facebook the last couple weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it.
People are funny. It's just
Liked
so
it.
funny.
I liked it a lot.
Oh man, they use the pictures of the Steelers and Andy Dalton and he's snickering. It's funny.
I like it.
Yeah. Anyways, this might be what the lines are, but we know Wolfgang is just not performing at all as Wolfgang is predicted to perform. So this goes to Wayne Enterprises.
Wayne Enterprises. Statman. Wayne Enterprises,
Wayne
please.
Enterprises.
I'd like to take Wayne Enterprises myself. Yes, Wayne like Bruce Wayne. Enterprises like a company that rents cars. Yes. Enterprise car rental. We really need to find a third person when Statman can't be here. When it's just the two of us, it really goes astray. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, get your fantasy pool picks in. It's still easy to do, as it always is.
Let's get an update on that real quick.
And we have an update right here. Right now, in the lead is Wayne Enterprises with 27, followed by the 69ers at 25, and the Bourbon Barons at 23. So it's really anyone's game. We still have 3 teams who have never put in their fantasy pool picks. And you guys are jerks. I'm going to call you out by name. All right, I'm going to use your actual name, too. Morgan Berry.
To the principal's office, please.
Sarah Little Pete, formerly Cunningham, now Cummins.
Yes.
And Timothy Crawford. Get your fantasy pool picks in, please.
You know what Timmy's problem is? He's too busy watching that new 4K TV he got.
He can put this on his 4K TV, so maybe he can see it and put them in.
Maybe we need to start recording the show in 4K so then we could watch it in, full 4K glory.
We can. I got a 4K camcorder.
You do?
My phone, baby.
Oh, it's right!
My new iPhone.
New iPhone!
iPhone 6S
yeah.
does the 4K.
Yeah, or we can get like a full 4K camcorder if somebody wants to give us like $2,000. Help fund the show.
Yes, we're also maybe thinking about taking up some studio space.
Yes.
So feel free to pay us as much money as you would like to pay us.
Yeah, if you notice, our production quality is going way up. Right there, right, Statman. High five.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have fun this week. Actually, wait a second before we go. When is the next time we want to try to have people come over? Do you remember when that is? I know it's coming up in a couple weeks.
Bengals bye week. Trying to get people.
I think it was the Bengals bye week or like a Thursday night game they were playing. We were gonna do the Sunday.
Yeah. So keep your eye out for an email, something like that, with an invite for us to get together, actually hang out as a league, and not see each other just on draft day. Be social, be friendly, be competitive. Let's talk trash face to face instead of us just using this as a propaganda platform to put all of you in the league down.
Statman!
Also, special guest? We still working on that special guest?
Yes, we are. I'm in talks. I'm hoping either next week or the week after we will have it enter what he would say is the definitive interview of Matthew Berry. Hopefully, I'm working on it. I know last year I teased this Dave Lapham thing, but I think I'm going to be able to make this one work. It probably won't be in studio. It might have to be pre-recorded. He wants some sort of...
Could it be live pre-recorded?
It could be live via tape delay.
Okay.
But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. Let people know. It's going to be awesome. And hopefully we can make the next edition of his book.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything you'd like for us to ask him when we interview him, send it our way. We're looking for anything you got.
Tweet those at our Twitter. I forget what it is now. What's our Twitter?
I believe it's @big_Dynasty.
So tweet at that, or email us, or call us, text us, Facebook message. You can do an Instagram. I don't really check it that often, so I might not get it. Carrier pigeon, but my pigeon coop is kind of on the fritz right now. I need to get an upgrade. Anyway, have a good week, everybody.
Peace out. Uh-oh.
This is where you do the thing.
No, try it. Try here.
This is where it gets awkward and we never end the show.
Hold on, let me turn the audio off.